fascinating stuff is happening right now. It was revealed that these glowing orbs are appearing in different ways throughout history. In fact, in this next clip, Lou Elizondo iterates the most recent American history of UFOs in military records, and it shows some interesting things about the appearance of these orbs. Check it out.
The fact that we've been seeing these, at least in my country, since the late 1940s, what you see is described as a TicTac was described in the 60s as a white flying throat lozenge. In the 50s was described as a white flying butane tank. It's clear we're dealing with the same technology, and I'm not aware of any billionaires that would have that type of technology. Again, temporally, you have to look at this from a time perspective. Way back then. It just doesn't make sense.
Although Lou is answering the question about whether or not this is a technology from another country, we can extrapolate some very interesting information from what he says.
Described in the 60s as a white flying throat lozenge. In the 50s was described as a white flying butane tank. It's clear we're dealing with the same technology.
That technology is what the Bible describes as the ability to transform. For the Bible says angels, particularly Lucifer, whom the Bible renames to Satan, chose to become his own moral authority and can transform himself into an angel of light. Now the wording is interesting here because it doesn't say Satan is an angel of light, but instead that he can transform into an angel of light, which means he doesn't always maintain this brightness. Perhaps God gave angels this glory for traveling between planets in the dark universe. Just like these new clips found this month of angels forming a typical triangle, as if they are trying to say they are the Trinity and that they are watching over us. The fascinating thing about angels, according to the Bible, is that they are physical beings. Angels ate food with Lot, and angels moved objects like Jesus' tomb. They are mortal. They can be killed by fire, as they will be someday at the end of the earth. So they are made of some combustible material. Some Bible commentary even says that Satan feared for his own existence at the flood. But these beings are not made of the same carbon-based molecules that make up the elements of this earth. For example, Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15, all flesh is not the same flesh. There are celestial bodies and terrestrial bodies, but the glory of the celestial one and the glory of the terrestrial one is another. So Paul is saying that these created beings are physical, just as we are physical, but they are just not made of the same dust of the earth like man. David Clark suggests that there may be a connection between what people want to see and what people are actually seeing appear.
I think that there's got to be a connection between what people were seeing on TV and in films and what they said that they were seeing in the sky.
Leading UFO expert David Clark says civilian witnesses are often highly susceptible to cultural influences.
From the 1970s onwards, you get this increasing trend for people to see giant triangular objects or wedge-shaped objects. And I think the easiest place to look for an answer is popular culture. Now, the film that I remember seeing from childhood, which had a huge triangular-shaped or wedge-shaped object, was the very first Star Wars film. When was that released? 1977. You get the huge Imperial Star Destroyer coming into view. Strangely enough, this is the same period of time that people start seeing these huge, dark, triangular-shaped objects with pulsing lights moving silently across the countryside at night.
Recently, the US military has confirmed that it has authentic footage of pyramid-looking UAPs swarming the military ships in closed airspace. While on the edge of truth, Lou Elizondo delivers a Vatican message of propaganda, whether he knows it or not, maintaining that these things may have been on Earth the whole time.
I had the honor and pleasure of sitting down with some individuals that were out of the Vatican. And there was a scroll, and in this scroll it was written in Latin, and it was a communique between a Roman soldier and a Roman general, some 2,000 years ago. And what they described in this communique was the name for the Roman shield is eclipus, means like eclipse, like a sun. And so they described these flaming Roman shields in the sky that would follow them from battle space to battle space. So it is quite possible we are dealing with something that could be potentially not necessarily even from outer space. Believe it or not, it could be from right here. It could be right from this planet, and we're just now at a point where technologically we're beginning to interact with it.
I can tell you that having a chance to talk to some people in the Vatican, they describe these flaming Roman shields in the sky that would follow them from battlefield to battlefield, what they call the eclipus, which is the shape of the Roman shield. That's documented. That's there. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't read it from Jacques Vallée, but from my understanding, Jacques Vallée even wrote a little bit about that. But I've seen that evidence myself. There is documentation of these strange things in the sky going back a long, long time. So I don't think it's necessarily modern. Maybe our understanding is a little bit more advanced and maybe consider that modern, but I don't think we're dealing with a new phenomenon. I think we may be dealing with a new recognition and perhaps, hopefully, at some point, a new understanding. But I don't think this is a new phenomenon to mankind. I think we've been faced with this phenomenon for quite some time.
Please continue to send me interesting clips about this phenomenon to bradburnham@protonmail.com, and I will continue to share everything that I have found and others have sent me with you. And don't forget to share Starfall with everybody you know. Stay safe, stay tuned in, because just like you saw in the last video, this is about to get crazy. See you all right here real soon.